Hello, viewers and subscriber. Welcome once again to my new screencast. Today, I will try to continue the view technologies, the technologies for the JSP Java Server pages. The last screencast, I already did the one professional projects with the free marker view technologies, and the last screencast from 32.1 up to 30.8. This was the 8 screencast videos in the YouTube channel already exist with the free marker. How can you use the free marker technology for building your GUI or UI developments? So it will be today I will try to, you see the screencast, I will try to give the one same applications in the backend server still the same, in the model is still the same, but in the GUI development is a GSP JSP technology. So you see the last screencast was about the free marker view technology, and then today I try to give you the same application. How can you how we could to take the same models in the backend server and change your front end or GUI development with the JSP technology. I know the JSP is the most popular technology. A lot of viewers and subscribers asking me to give the one of the applications or demonstrations to do for the JSP technology with the same models. I mean the same backend server. So that's why today I try to make some such a videos. It will be the multicast videos, maybe 6 or 7. Just follow my channels and you get the overview how the developments and testings and complete project is done by this with this view technology. So this is the presentations, and then we will start prepare our backends, and we did our developments with all the Spring MVC technology, and also with the Spring Boot, and after that we will test your front end or GUI with the Seleniums. So you see that the different technologies we will already talk about the last screencast: JSP technology, Timely, Grace, Free Marker, Groovy, and Velocity, and Jada for J, and React, and other technologies. And this is the JSP is the most popular technology. That's every web developer knows this technology. So you see our project requirements. There is this application basically do the complete registration process. Means when you try to give in any web application, there is a registration process still. It is like eBay or PayPal. You have to register first, and you need to do your logging mechanism. That means you see the registration part and the role of the registrar, which person or which person is responsible for which part of the application. That's what the user action, role actions, and then the address information, the user itself informations. Means the which permanent address and the local temporary address is assigned to each of the registered user. That's it. I will show you detail how the model is done and how the implementation done with the JSP technology. So in the backend server will be the PostgreSQL server. So you see the configurations. If you are in Spring MVC, then you need to to configure. That means you need to the sublet context XML file, web XML file has to be written, because I'm here. I'm using the Spring Boot technology. You already knows, everybody, the Spring Boot is a convention over configurations. There's a concept that's you need for this case. In your Maven, if you are using Maven, then you have to add the form.xml file, this dependency, and then if you are Gradle building tools used, and then Gradle.build.Gradle file, you need to inject this dependency, and then after that you need to a replication that in resource. I will show you how is it. The application, the properties files, you need to only need these 2 line of code. Then that means when you are Spring Boot technology, then you don't need nothing to do with XML. XML is over. So that's the configuration part. When I did the development, I will show you detail how is it done. Your all resource file has to be src main.web app, and then web info and JSP folders. That means all the JSP pages or template pages in your views. So here's I tried to summarize the JSTL, the standard tag libraries which are using for JSP technology, view technology. You see that they have the core technology with the core tags and fifix-c, and then you have a lot of the iterations, if condition, when, and the import, and for each for the iteration. And you have the formattings, the formatting for the your date formats in depending on the which locality or time zone you are, then you need to format your timestamp or your date format. And if you are working with the SQL directly without any middle layer, then you can, even though it's possible to the JSTL or JSP is possible to the SQL tag, you can directly access the databases without any middle layer. Without any web service layer in between between the front end and the back end. So that's the possibility. JSP can with the JSTL tag libraries, you can SQL tag library, you can access directly database and present your data and do your CRUD operation to the data. But in the nowadays, the application is enterprise application is a more complex. That's why this is not the popular solutions to use directly the SQL in your front end level. That's why it's divided. There's a lot of technology concepts, the microservices, web services with the different SOAP-based web services and REST-based web services. That's why the middle layer nowadays is really partition it and segregate it. Then you can really full implementation of the Spring MVC or model view controller implementations. So here's the XML. If you are working a lot of things with XML processing or parsing, and then this is the tag libraries, you can use it your XML processing tags. And there's the JSTL functions. You can functions when you need it. You can use those functions because it is the already implemented tags. Just you need to use it and then finish it. So for my case, I use the core tag libraries and formatting tag libraries because I need these tag libraries. Other things for current implementation, the project implementation, I don't need it, but you need to take this to get this knowledge how it works. When you need it, just do this, the research works, and then implement it as it is. So here's the major annotations for the Spring Boot and Hibernate, which I'm trying to use my project implementations. So entity, everybody knows the entity and tables, ID generator, and the generated value one-to-many relationships mapping, and then the Spring part, the controller request mappings, path variables, and model attribute service set auto-where as Spring Boot application. This is the main annotation for the implementation. And I will show when I did the implementation, you can see the detailed information. How is it implemented? How is it called? How can you push it in? Where can you put it? These annotations. But of course, you need to, in theory, you need to understand how each of the annotations annotated class works. So here will be the project structure. You see that's I said the project requirements was the user registration is our central part, and then you get every user has a multiple user role as admin, as a desk office, as administrator, and all the application user, or it's a web user, or some web user has a constraint. Okay, this user is possible to go this page, and these users are not allowed to do this delete options, CRUD operation. Maybe he is allowed only reading the data, not deleting, not updating data. But other user, they needed to only update. He is not allowed to insert the data or deleting data. That's the control. That's the control every web user, web application need to do. And this is the address part. Maybe this register user, you try to register. He has multiple address information. That means every register user has multiple one to many user role and one to many address information. And this you can see here the real project structure. uh, it has a configuration part and controller part, model part, repository part, and service implementation part, and a utility part. And this is the resource part, where you can deploy your application externally or internally, or you can configure or the application.properties file with different environments. You can set up here. I will show you how is it done in the next screencast. So this is this is most important to take the real structure, because this is the structure of our day-to-day development. It's a real professional structure of your programming or your development process. Is a professional and structural way to do. Just you need to follow that one. So you see there's a little bit detail here, your model part, the three models, and and mapping between them, and then the controllers part, and the configuration part, and the definition of a repository, and the service interfaces, service implementation, and the utility part. I will show you detail here. The utility means all your backend preparations, your primary key and foreign key relationships. How is it the key generation? This is most important when you did a professional jobs. You need to professional way to generate your primary keys, your unique identities. So this is you see the models, repository, service, and controller part. And here you see here all the JSP pages, and then this is completely a professional way to do. You see there is a lot of templates behind the scene, and then just we are injecting the template, include the templates, and that's done. You see that, as I said, I already use here the two core libraries, core tags, and then formatting tags, because I need to localization and internationalization I-89 ends. So you need if your application is a client would like to see the application to the other languages like Spanish or Franzose and all the Bengalis or Urdu, Hindi, then you need to translate it in the applications. That's why we need to do the internalizations and the localizations approach, and then that case you need to formatting. So I will show you how is it done. So the injection. So you get the idea we divided the controller part, we divided the model part, and we completely model the view part. And view part is the most important part. I saw some developers, they are everything put one single page, as is terrible. It doesn't work in professional way. This is the application. I try to give it really build multiple templates and just inject the template within a 10 line of code. Then everybody can really clearly segregate. If someone has to be tried to make to build the forms, then he will work with the forms. Someone who tried to present the data, he will just read the data, present the view pages. And that's the structure in the professional way. And if say someone is developing some editing part, then he will do the editing part. And if someone to try to the completely configure the systems. He will then his for his case is really easier to inject the EU templates in very quickly and easily if you divided those things into single phases, and then after if you build all the single pages as a template, and then you inject the one master template page, and then it works automatically. That's the perfect. I will show you how is it done. This is the major application URL mapping and JSP template mapping. You see our applications here and your domains, and then you get your operations, the add operation, update operation, delete operations, and that means that your code operation is there. So I give it some hints how is it works. So here is the add call, the form and actions, and then the so on so forth. How is it done? The major submit button, and here the button delete button, and this is this important that I said last screen and the last slide. The how you have a single page, just inject the include all those 3 pages, and that's enough. If someone is working with the header, maybe some expertise in the CSS, some JavaScript stuff and footer, he will be work with that one. Then you are working in the features, and under the features, maybe some developer is responsible to build all the forms, and some developer is responsible for building the forms for the deleting, for the updating. That's thing. That's why it's important to segregate those pages as a template and inject or include those pages in the single page, your main application page. So here you see the configurations and how your application.properties file has to be configured for different environment. You see the development environment, production, QA, release environments, and test environment, QA environment, and then application by default. That's one. So just you see the effect. We put the server context path and application name and your server port, and then your database name and the database user and password, and this is the 2 line of code that you need to if you are working with Spring Boot. And if you are not working with the Spring Boot, then you need to build your sublet context XML file and also your web XML file, then it works automatically. So that's and then this is most important part. A lot of developer, the beginner or fresh developer, they didn't understand properly how it works. I will show you detail how it works. Just follow the development part. So that means that I will run this application in development machines or in test machines or in client itself. You develop your application in maybe in Germany, and you try to install the application to the South Asia somewhere, some countries like Bangladesh to put in these applications. And it's possible because you already externally configure your application. That's what you need. You need to change your machine, the free port number, and you need you build your database into those local machines, in the client machines, and change the username and password. Then automatically just you run your jar files, and it automatically works with the client's machines, or maybe hundreds machines. Just you need to 100 times change the port and machine number and the respective database name. Or maybe they have a central database, just inject the central database PC name to the local PC, and then you configure your application, and it works automatically. And here's our main GUI part. You see all the functionalities in some menu bar, and the menu is still not implemented properly. Just I show you just simple templates, but the functionality is there. It works automatically. So this is linked, and you see the main registration. Registration address information part for the address information, not address information. Here is missing something, leveling miss, and this is the registration part, address information part, and the information for the address, the users. And here is the user role. It has the two roles. You can show it, in I did implementation in the model part. So this is the presentation. So you just create your user role for belongs to each of the user, and you generate the operation, the edit and up delete operation. That's you can show you later. And this is the registration user address. Not sorry. This is the same page, and this is the and paste. So this is the presentation is done. The next screencast I will do the developments and for the all parts, for the model part, controller part, and view part, and then I will test the applications and then after that, when your application is tested properly, that we will build our standalone jar files, and we put it with this jar file to run this jar file in the client's machines or hundreds of machines on these jar files. And since it's a develop team has to be do it. If you are working with this really small company, then you are responsible to install those jar file into the client machines. And as just follow my channels, UVSoftGroup in the YouTube channels, and just subscribe it and click the bell button. And when I have a update screencast, then you can get very quickly. And please